I'm Tits,
Heyo, I'm Areolas.
and we're doing The Princess Bride. What's your first exposure to The Princess Bride? Lorenzo?
Yeah. So, I remember I was hanging out with this chick in high school, and she invited me over to her house, and she put on The Princess Bride, and I think she wanted to mess around, but I was nervous, and so I just tried to watch the movie, but she was like, "Oh, haha, my bra's on the floor," and so I didn't really. Let's just say I didn't get to finish The Princess Bride, but I at least saw
Well, you
half
did
of
get to
it.
finish.
Uh,
But
you know,
ching.
no, just a little foreplay.
Uh,
I'm not. I don't like to finish. I don't mind starting, but I don't like to finish.
Fine.
Yeah. But yeah, what about you? What's your first exposure to it?
It was actually this was like well after I was adopted, and I visited my biological mother when I was 14, and she was like, "Oh, have you seen The Princess Bride?" I was like, "No, I don't know." "Oh, so you've never seen The Princess Bride? Watch it." And then I watched it, and I remember laughing a lot. And then that was my exposure. But then I watched it again for a review,
Hmm.
and I mean, it's a good movie, but does it hold up upon rewatch? You
I will
know,
say,
that's
yeah, I did rewatch it again without any sort of distractions this time. So yeah, we can talk about it.
I really like how this movie starts up because it starts up in the modern world, and it's a grandfather who's like visiting his grandson. Was he sick or just like in bed for some reason? Oh, he's sick,
Well, I
and
don't think he's like deadly sick. He's just sick from school for like a day or whatever.
this is like a cold or something, like a
Yeah.
flu. Okay, um, so he's sick, and he's like playing baseball on his TV. And I was like, oh, this guy is really into video games. And his grandpa comes in and he's like, hey, son, hey, grandson, my son's your father. Hey, grandson, I have this book, and whenever someone's sick, I always like to read it. I read it to your father. My father read it to me. And now here I am. I don't know why your father isn't reading it to you, but here I am reading it to you now. Here it is. Here's the story. And man, that kid, he redirected his attention so fast from the video game. I was like, is this reality? Uh,
Do you know that kid actor, Fred Savage?
not familiar with him. No.
He did a lot of like things as a kid actor. I know he was in The Wizard, which was like a Nintendo game movie,
Hmm.
and he was in the show The Wonder Years, which had a theme song that was like, "What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up?" But
If you sang out
yeah,
of tune, I would slap your face. You're not allowed to sing.
that those are the lyrics. I think that's a Beatles song, but
Oh,
or a cover of a Beatles song. But yeah, he's a real famous kid actor. And then even have you ever seen Boy Meets World?
I've heard of it a lot, but I've never actually watched it.
His his son Ben Savage was the main actor in Boy Meets World. So like he has a generation of actors, but that has nothing
Oh,
to do with the point. What I'm saying is, yeah, it's real strange. He's a pretty famous kid actor, and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me hear this story, Grandpa." But he does he not really want to because it's kind of gay, right?
yeah. He's kind of like hesitant, but it's the grandfather's pitch. Is like this is full of torture, violence, uh, romance, all these other cool things that I forgot that he said, but they're really cool. Do you want
Yeah.
to see? Do you want to hear the story? And then the kid's like, yeah, I wanted to hear it. And so, uh, greatest hook is now we're meeting a guy, and we're also meeting a chick, but more specifically, we're meeting a chick, and she's just like there. She's like, oh, I'm a little princess. Here I am. I'm princess. I'm just laying here. I'm just chilling. And also, what's cool though is like she's doing stuff but not really. She's kind of making the servant. I don't know if it's a servant. He's like a farm boy. Uh, she's just making him do everything, which is why I get the impression she's like, oh yeah, I'm just cool. I'm amazing. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm just gonna do some little light work here, but I'm mostly gonna have this guy do all the work for me, and he doesn't complain at all. And I'm like, all right, okay, I guess you must have a mad crush on her if you're just gonna do everything that she says.
Yeah, I was getting that real dom slave type vibe to it,
Yeah.
and nothing wrong with that. I mean, she looks kind of like a little young, but she does look like she doesn't shave. Her vibe gives me that she's very
I
natural.
mean, yeah. There's no razors back then.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So she's just chilling. And they get into a lovely, lovely relationship, and he's like, you know what? I have this woman, but you know what I don't have? Money. I need to be on a pirate ship. I'm like, that's a surefire way to get rid of your woman. What? I thought you loved her. Why are you leaving her? Because of pursuit of money? Aren't there other chores you can do? Like for money? Is it not paying enough?
I think
Like,
pirate ship is like a crypto nowadays. Like that's like a all or nothing type thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be part of like the bestest of the best crews in order to make any money. Otherwise, I don't know, the other pirate ships are going to get you. It's kind of like a dog eat dog world over there in
Well,
pirate land.
yeah, and being a pirate is actually real like dangerous just because like you're on a ship going crazy. You don't have enough. It's too much sun. It's not enough vitamin C. That's why people got scurvy and
So
all
much
that.
scurvy.
Yeah, terrible.
So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be on those conditions. Luckily we're in the modern world now, so we're all past that,
Hmm.
hopefully. Um so of course, being on a pirate ship, your pirate ship can get attacked, and his gets attacked, and he's presumed dead. Like, oh, this guy's dead. And news gets back to the lady, and she's like, no, my love, why did you ever leave? I'm like, why did you ever leave, guy? Like, this entire story is dependent on you leaving. Uh, honestly, personally, not very compelling reasons.
But still a reason. It's just
It's a
yeah,
reason.
it's a reason, but it's not narratively speaking the most ideal, but it works, right?
Yeah. I do like though, like during the relationship building part, the kid's like, "Oh, gross! They're kissing. I don't want to hear about that. Ew, ew." And I'm here also like, I don't want to hear about them kissing. I want to see the sword fights. Come on, this isn't a romance. But you do have to set something up. You have to set up stakes. So there's
And
that.
and it's cool that we're going back and forth to like the book and then the real world and how the kid would react and him, like how you would react as a kid too, more or less, so it's a cool little addition to it.
I did like that. Also, now we got a time skip. The kid's like, skip the kissing part. And he's like, okay, fine. Skip 5 years ahead. um, so it's announced a 5 year time skip. The farmer boy, his name is Wesley. And also, this chick is now going to be married to this prince, but it seems like she doesn't really like him that much. It's kind of just a political marriage, more so. And I'm like, oh, geez. All right. Well, I hope Wesley comes and saves her. So that's what I'm rooting for.
Well, in here he's presumed dead because he's been gone for so long. So what's her name, the girl, what's her name's Buttercup, like
Yeah,
legit, I'm looking it up, it's Buttercup. She doesn't care. She's like, I don't care if I get married. I only loved one man. I'll do whatever. Like my life's pretty much worthless now. Real depressed. She's like super depressed.
Yeah, I mean, that's sad. You 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 found a guy that was going to do everything for you, and now you're being forced to marry a man who only wants your service to him. So I see why she's like, I don't want to be here anymore. Um, but luckily, there are some three dudes who are like, I'm gonna steal you. And okay, I love this. I love this. I love this trio. We got Inconceivable Man is how I like to call him because
Uh
he's short, bald, and he keeps saying inconceivable
huh.
just throughout. And then we got the big old giant man. He's big, tough man. And then you got the guy with the whose father was killed by a guy with six fingers, and
Hmm.
he's on the lookout for the guy who killed his father. And they kidnap the princess. Oh man, Inconceivable Man is clearly the brains of the group, but he doesn't have the biggest of the brains. So I like seeing him in action. He's like, "We're gonna steal this princess, and then they have to give us money for it. Best plan." you know?
No, they're all full of character. All three of them. It all works. All three of them together. Where you hate them, especially the inconceivable guy. But the other guys seem like they just go with the flow, just
Yeah,
because you know.
I mean, I don't like hate the giant. He's just doing whatever he's being told to do.
Hmm.
Like he seems very soft spoken, and also has a soft heart. But he's like, he's vulnerable. He has empathy. I
Hmm.
think an Inconceivable Man doesn't really. And then the third guy is just looking for vengeance anywhere it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
but there's also a person trailing them as they move through the countryside. There is this man, this guy who's just in all black, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you." Uh, first of all, why did they decide to climb that cliff? It just seems like a lot of work.
And that
Too much.
was their plan, I guess. They had, well, because that inconceivable dude looks like he had a plan the whole time of where to go, and the way he's smart, his smartness would be, he had it all routed out and stuff. But then you have that one dude followed him that kind of fucked with it, and then behind them is the actual king looking for his bride, supposedly, with the who we learn later on is the six fingered man, is his like uh number one right hand man, six fingered right hand man.
Yeah. So I do like how it seems like it's taking a little bit of a not too much effort, but just a little bit of effort for the giant to carry all of them, just all of them scaling the wall. And I'm like, that's impressive. You're very strong. And then the guy who's wearing all black also scales the wall. And it's he seems like he's struggling a little bit, but he also seems like he's been training. And I'm like, wait, wh- I would never attempt to scale a wall without safety gear. This guy's just scaling it. He's like, I'm gonna get that girl. I'm doing it.
I'm about to say, I don't know if any girl's worth scaling a fucking cliff like that for. I
Nah,
honestly don't
man.
know. Maybe like one or two I could think of, but not I don't know about Buttercup.
No, she
But
doesn't shave her armpits.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
which is cool. I'm not against it. I wouldn't
I
mind a
am
little.
personally, just personally, I am, but
I
I don't
love a
care if you do it.
little. I love a little furry patch, or when a girl has like a baby cactus for hair on their legs, so it's a little
A
prickly.
baby cactus?
Y-
Oh, like they haven't shaved in like 3 days or something.
Yeah, the legs are a little prickly, but they don't like sting you.
Yeah,
It's
that makes sense.
yeah, it's cute.
I mean, at least when you have hair in your legs, the needles don't stick in your hand when you touch it. So there's that.
Little little texture. So they're taking the princess away, and they tell the dude that's the sword fighter, hey, take care of the guy following us, the masked man, or the man wearing all black. And this dude's real respectful. He's like, hey, you want to have a sword fight when you get up here? Well, if you help me up, I'll sword fight you. And they're very respectable of each other, and they have this pretty cool sword fight, actually.
It shows how skilled they both are. It also shows off. Uh, uh, his name is Inigo Montoya.
Yeah,
Inigo Montoya.
Inigo
Pretty
Montoya.
iconic name. I hear that name quoted a lot. Um, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. That's a very quotable line from this movie.
Because
Um,
he just repeats it to himself every time he thinks of when he sees the man who killed his father.
yeah, he does do that. I do. It's yeah, very respectable sword fight, but it ends in Montoya being knocked out, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wow, what are you gonna do if you fight the man who killed your father? Are you gonna let yourself get knocked out? Like this is not a good representation of your sword skills.
Yeah. If you can't beat a random dude who's just, you don't even know who he is, and he's just wearing all black and he beats you, like, how are you ready to fight the dude who killed your father? But
Yeah,
so that masked man takes care of him. He follows towards Buttercup, and he ends up with the giant, and I don't remember what he does with the giant to trick him.
I think he just chokes him.
There you go. Yeah, he
He
does,
he
right?
jumps he jumps on his back from behind and just chokes him. I'm like that's the best way to deal with a giant. I mean, I do like seeing the giant trying to get him off of his back. But he's not the brightest mind, so he's not going for the obvious bash the guy behind you with rocks behind you backing into a rock really hard and
Yeah.
like squishing his legs or something. Like he doesn't think to do that. Like he kind of tries, but not really. And then he gets knocked out. And then here's honestly, this has to be my favorite part of the movie is when we got the guy wearing all black and he goes to the inconceivable man and inconceivable man's like inconceivable, you cannot poison me. And he thinks himself to death is what I like to say, because this guy is like, I got some poison over here. Now, which poison is in the cup? Is the poison in this cup or the poison in this cup? And I really like seeing the inconceivable man being like, well, clearly it would be in your cup because you wouldn't want me to drink it, but you want me to think that should be in my cup, but then you would think that too. Also, how many steps are you ahead of me thinking?
And he says it so sure, and then he's like, look over there, and he switches the cups even though the guy's giving him the choice of what cup to drink. Like, it's so wacky.
And then he's like drinks and he's like, ha, I am smarter than you. You couldn't even best me. Inconceivable. And then he just falls and dies.
Yeah. It is just like, how did you know which cup? Oh, both of them were poisoned. I just have a fucking immunity to it. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's a choice number 3 that I didn't even consider, but it works. So now he's at Buttercup, and she's like, "Who are you?" And then a bunch of the king's men are coming, and she's like, "Oh no, ah!" And then they roll down a hill.
Yeah, she pushes him down the hill, and he's all, as you wish. And she's like, oh my god, you're the dude that I loved. And she goes down that hill too, and it's so weird. They're just all both rolling down the hill.
It's romantic, I guess. Have you ever rolled down a hill? It's dizzying.
Oh
It's not
fuck
at all
yeah.
romantic.
No, it's so uncomfortable, especially when you're trying to stop and you can't. Like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, let's just roll down a hill just in a romance way. Oh, yeah, it'll be so romantic when we have too much vertical to stand up straight and we fall into each other and we throw up all over the place because we can't handle motion sickness. What? This is not romance. Okay? This
No,
is not my idea of romance. Um,
no, a
so they
lot
have
of
to go
internal
through the
injury.
yeah, they have to go through the fire swamp, which
This is
is
pretty
cool.
cool. This is
It's a
cool.
pretty yeah, it's a cool sequence where he knows exactly where to go. And I like how he's going through the fire swamp because he knows how to navigate it. And I think he knows that the people following him don't know how to navigate it. So he's like, well, this will be like a barrier between them and us. We're just going to go through the fire swamp. And I was like, I like the fire swamp's aesthetic. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they go through quicksand and he saves her. They face like flaming holes in the ground and then those
how would
mole
that work
mats.
in a fucking swamp? First of all, it's a fire swamp. Swamp has a lot of grass and water in it. Where's the fire coming from?
The only thing I could think of, and if I want to go realistically, there's like natural gas in the earth. It could be
Yeah.
like popping up from that and the heat within the earth. But if it's a swamp, I don't know because swamps are damp. You're right calling the swamp.
Yeah, I mean there's also like that might also be the joke too. Uh so there's that. But I'm also thinking like if there's fire in that swamp, like the leaves would catch on fire and then there wouldn't be any trees there.
Oh
For
yeah,
yeah, so it's like wow, okay, this seems a little impractical, but it's pretty cool. So they're going through the fire swamp, and honestly, what's fun is like learning a little bit of Wesley's history, like with the pirates. I found that to be
yeah.
cool.
How he met like that pirate that was by name, and that pirate passed on the name to him, and he has to pass on that name of the pirate, and I don't know. It's interesting, but at the same time, I don't know. It's not necessary, but it's cool little information to have about the character.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Uh, I also thought it was so cool that they were going through the fire swamp to avoid the king's men, and then when they leave the fire swamp, who is there? It's the men. Wow, it's
Yeah,
like they're just gonna go around.
yeah. It was like okay, we went through all that for nothing. It was like all right, and so they're about to kill him, fucking Wesley, and the queen or Buttercup's like, let him go, and I'll fucking go with you. I'll do anything, whatever. I think right, or they
Yeah,
did, or they, she said, don't kill him. I think I'm
yeah.
trying to
She's like, "Don't
remember.
kill him," and he's like, "Okay, I'll let him go." And then he's like, "Nah," behind her back though. Nah, let's send him to the torture chamber. I'm like, you are not a man of your word.
Oh yeah,
Just I don't want you leading a nation, please.
yeah. He turned real heel here when he was like, "Oh, I'll let him go." The man who tried to kidnap you, because that's what I think. But then, nah, I'm gonna fucking torture him.
Yeah, it's really funny, right? It's also interesting that Wesley, while he's in the chambers, he's noticing the guy with the six fingers, and he's like, "Oh, I think I know of a person who's looking for this man. Hmm, is there a way that I can connect this man with the six fingers to the man who wants to murder him for murdering his father?" And I like that. He's just like sitting there. He's just thinking, stewing, waiting, pretty much.
And there in the torture chamber, that six-fingered man wants to, or there's the guy who's torturing him for the sake of science, but I think that six-fingered man ends up like using that machine all the way to like level 9 or something, and basically kills him or sucks the life force out of him or whatever.
Yeah, it's I find it just the whole politics of what's happening behind, like, with this guy, with this freaking king guy who's like, I want you to be my wife. Well, I will stab myself if we get married. And he's like, fine, I'll just find him. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, A, you know where he's at. B, uh, B, this guy has some other plans. Like, this chick has been causing way too many problems. Too many problems for him to deal with at this point. So I'm thinking, oh, well, he wants to get rid of her. After all of this effort to get her. And I'm just like, oh, you freaking, you could have, like, kept your mouth shut and potentially not uh be the be murdered by the person who's trying to marry you because you're so annoying. Well, oh, this Wesley guy, can you make sure to know where he's at? I won't marry you otherwise. Like, come on.
Write him so many letters and we'll send them out. And he's all like, I'm not gonna fucking send those letters out. I'm not gonna do shit. I already know he's dead, you know?
Yeah, it's also really fun, right? We get to learn that what's interesting is inconceivable guy was supposed to murder Buttercup.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I thought it was because of trying to get ransom money. But no, he already got the money. You're supposed to murder the chick who clearly didn't want to marry him. And he can feel that. And he's like, well, I'm not going to have a chick who's going to not be on my side every time. Uh I'm just going to get rid of her. Bye-bye. And I'm like, oh god. Why did you involve her in your life in the first place? Okay? Like, that's what I'm curious about.
Well, apparently, if he was staging her to die so that the other nation or whoever would fight against his kingdom, and then he would win. It would be like a reason to go to war, and he would win the other kingdom through war, and then have that extra kingdom. But I don't know why he selected her. You know, like, she's no princess. She's just a person of
She's
that
just a
kingdom.
chick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. She's just a cute girl. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she's cute, you know.
Yeah.
But that was
Um
about it. Uh,
yeah, there's that. I also like learning about the why the other people were involved, why the root guy was involved, uh while why Inconceivable Man was involved, why Montoya was involved. And I like seeing Montoya is just like, oh man, I can never find the guy who murdered my father. I'm gonna drink about it. Slurp, 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 slurp. And then we got the freaking giant guy. He's like, oh hey, it's been a while. Do you wanna bring Wesley out of the torture chamber? And I'm like, oh god. If they didn't come to this idea, Wesley would just be there forever.
yeah, just
Yeah.
dying dead.
It's pretty messed up. It's not a good situation to be in. Never.
So they end up coming. They find his dead, well, mostly dead body, and they take him to a healer. Which is a real weird scene where the healer's with like his wife that looks kind of like him, and they're able to kind of bring him back to life, but not at any energy. Like, he can't move his body or anything. He can just talk.
I mean, yeah. I what, did you not get fed or something? That seems about right. I That is a form of torture, is not being fed food,
Hmm.
especially to Americans now.
It's a great way. It's a great way to torture people, not being fed. Uh,
Yeah, it's true. So
Um,
they're
mhm.
they're looking for Wesley, and I really like it. Right, I like where they're going to go find Wesley, and then they encounter some people, right? And it's like cool and all, but behind the other thing that's happening, it was we got Buttercup, and then we got this freaking king guy that she's supposed to marry, and she's like enraged. You didn't even try to look for him. And I'm like,
Oh
yeah, he
shit.
doesn't want you around. Like he plans on murdering you. You are annoying. This is another instance of you being annoying to him. He simply does not want you here.
Duh. Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
And so we're able to see that Wesley and Nigo Montoya and then the giant are able to storm the castle, even though Wesley's not at full health. I know Inigo Montoya encounters the six fingered man,
Yes.
and he's
Such
like,
iconic scene.
yeah, and he's like, oh, here we go. I've been fucking planning for this my whole life, and this is a pretty epic fight too.
I was like, oh, I'm Inigo Montoya. You call my father. Prepare to die. A sword fight. This is my sword fight sounds.
Very good sword fight sounds. It did go a lot like that. Uh, at the beginning, that six fingered man stabbed the shit out of him, and then he was able to like he just kept saying it. I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And he just kept like powering up, and finally just like stabbed him. And yeah, it was
I thought it
fucking
was
badass.
really cool. That was
It was
pretty
good.
cool. It was like a force of will moment. It's like even if you're mortally wounded, if you have the willpower, you can continue. You can keep on going, and I like that.
Especially with the sword sounds you gave.
You know.
It was very much like that. It was a good scene and very like a good arc. Like, oh, this guy got his comeuppance. This is great. Like justice, you know.
Yeah, I. You know what I like? Even though he's kind of weak, the only way that he's able to get revived is he has to get revived by like a just like a guy. Like, I'll revive you, and it's like, oh, thank God you're here. If you weren't here, then how would they continue storming the castle? Uh, So now he has all of his strength, and then we got the giant, and we got Montoya here, and then they're now going to storm the castle. And then the freaking king's like, we gotta hurry this up. We gotta make sure that this marriage is official right here, right now. We gotta do it. We gotta hurry it up. They're coming in. They're coming in. And I'm just thinking, maybe you should like fight for her. Maybe with a sword fight or something. If you really want to have this wedding right now, make it a
No,
dual wedding.
well, he is just a pussy, and it ends up like kind of ending that way, where even with the Wesley not at full strength, he still kind of tricks that dude, the fucking king or whatever, into like tying himself up and giving up because he was just such a puss, you know.
Yeah, and speaking of pussies, right? Um, Montoya is not one of those
No.
because with all injuries, he kills the guy who killed his father, and now his life is complete. He's satisfied. But also, now we got Wesley's like going through the castle. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Oh, she's right here. And she's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to join the realm of not alive because I married this man. And this is the right time to jump in and try to stop her. Wesley's over here like, hey, it's not technically a wedding because you didn't say your vows. And I'm just thinking, okay, So you can have all of the shabam, all of the pomp and circumstance. But what makes somebody married is whether they say the vows. Uh,
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
seems
I guess so.
like a really big party for a couple sentences to be said.
Yeah, religion. What can you say? That's what people believe in.
Yeah.
That's not even fairy tale shit. That's like real shit. What people believe in real life.
It's really interesting.
Well,
It
no,
is really interesting.
yeah, people's realities are so fucking weird. I swear.
They'll just
But
believe anything.
but yeah, so like I guess what's his name? The king. It said he ends up kind of giving up to Wesley, and they all kind of get horses. The giant like grabs a bunch of horses, and they all like ride away.
How would the horse deal with the giant?
I don't know. It's a lot of
That must
weight,
that must be a strong horse.
dude. The giant he had to have weighed like at least over 450 pounds. And horses, like when they don't let fat people ride horses. You have to meet a certain weight, kind of like when a fat person rides a helicopter. Like you
Hmm.
can't have them on there because of the weight. So yeah, that would fuck with the
Uh,
horse real bad.
what if you rode two horses at the same time?
It could work if coordinated appropriately, but that sounds
Horses
like
are
a
dumb.
lot.
That's impossible.
Horses are beautiful, but
They
yeah,
are
that
beautiful.
yeah.
I didn't say that. I didn't say they were not beautiful. I just said they're dumb. They're majestic, but also really dumb. Why do you
Yeah,
think we were able to uh, domesticate them?
yeah,
Because they're
that's true.
stupid.
And so they all escape, and I don't know where they go. Where does it go? I don't know. They just run away, and that's it, right?
They have a kiss.
They kiss, and then the grandfather finishes reading the story to his son and really likes it.
And the son's like, "Oh my god!" The grandson's like, "Oh my goodness, can you read this again tomorrow?" And he's like, "As you wish." And I'm like, "Why? Okay, it must be such a cool story that you want to hear it again." I mean, look, I like The Princess Bride and all, but if it were me, I wouldn't want to listen to the same story again the
No,
next day. I'm
yeah,
sorry, kid, but that's not me.
and then like the grandpa saying that, I felt like gay vibes. Like I don't know about well, because you're a girl, right? But I know like it made me feel like when I hug my dad, like I'm just like, oh, this is kind of gay. Like I gotta say no homo when I do
No homo.
it. Yeah,
As you wish, no homo.
you're when you're like, oh, grandpa, can you read this? And he's all, as you wish, and I'm like, bro, it's kind of gay, but okay, thanks. Can't you just say yeah, sure, son or grandson?
Yeah. So there's that. What'd you think of the movie? What would you rate it? What would you rate it?
I'd give it like a 7.5. It was good rewatching it, and then I have that connected memory with foreplay. So like it was decent. Like the Inigo Montoya stuff's really good, and that to me is what like saves the movie. But like a 7.5.
Yeah, this movie is pretty dang good. There's a lot of connective tissue that like little points that are connected throughout the entire movie that are brought up, and also it's pretty funny. Uh on second rewatch, I mean on the rewatch, I didn't laugh as much as I did the first time. But I did like the story beats. But again, the inconceivable man overthinking his way on which poison to drink. That was my favorite scene, and then pretty much from there, I was like, "All right, well, I'm kind of riding away from the high that I experienced watching that scene." So
Hmm.
like, I think up until that point, the movie is like a strong 8 for me, and then after that scene, it's like a 7.5. It's not as it's like it doesn't diminish in quality too much for me, but it's overall like a 7.7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll say everyone does their part. It's a good movie, and like you said, like this kid wants to, hey, grandpa, can you read it again to me? The same story, and you're like, I saw it the first time, and then I watched it again, and it kind of lowered and diminished in return. So you already kind of know what's going to happen, on the second watch.
Yeah, you have to come into this blind
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
no expectation of what the movie is in
Mm-hmm.
order to enjoy it. And then you can watch it again and also enjoy it. Just, the way that you enjoy it is going to be different than the first time. And I really do think the first time you watch it, very necessary to like enjoyment of the movie. You got to go in blind is what I'm saying.
And to me, it's pretty impressive too that it was like a princess movie, but as a boy, or at least whatever gender you might be, right? Whenever this was made, where it's just boys and girls, right? I feel like both could enjoy
Simpler
it.
times.
Yeah, yeah, both could enjoy it for different reasons.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive for a 1987 movie, for that to like be enjoyable or 86, whatever, by adults, kids, and or girl and boy. You know,
Yeah, it's true.
hell yeah. And that was uh Princess Bride. We have a little game here.
Ooh, game.
Yep, it's called. I think I did this before, so we're gonna call this Guess the Gimmick 2.
Electric
Since
Boogaloo.
we uh we talked about wrestlers before. I forgot what movie we did this, but in this movie we had Andre the Giant. He played the giant in the movie, so he was a wrestler, right? Very
Yeah.
famous, famous wrestler. So I'm gonna show you different wrestling gimmicks, and you try to guess the name of their gimmick or what their gimmick is by
All right.
their presence. Let me find the shit here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so here is the first one. I don't know if I ever showed you this one. Do you know who this is?
Who that guy is? What the fuck? This is hello. I'm from the insane asylum, man. That's his gimmick.
Pretty close. He's this is Eugene, and he is legit like a retarded wrestler. Like they never said he was retarded, but he was special.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Uh. Well, that's fun. I don't know. It's the eyes. I can see it in the eyes.
I mean,
The
he in real life he wasn't retarded. Like he was playing the part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot clearer. I was like, they just hired a like
No, no, no.
like a 60 IQ guy
Well,
who
and
something.
typically those people are very strong. They got
Yeah,
that ape like strength.
yeah.
But yeah, that was his gimmick, was that he was a slow special person, and you
What was
could
he like? Was he like?
he was what they call a baby face, where he was always the good guy and everyone cheered for him, and whenever a girl would come out and kiss him, they'd cheer, or whenever he got, people were teasing him and then he'd get like the best of them, everyone would cheer. So he was a crowd favorite. He really was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. He didn't try to do offensive like like
They had where he would like go into, oh, I'm in the men's locker room, and then he'd look and he'd be with a bunch of women in underwear. Oh my god, no. And the camera would be there too for some reason.
okay. That's all right then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is my guy.
he's, he's a great gimmick. I do love it. Here's the next one. Do you know who this is?
This fucking guy with a clock. This is Gimmick. Is he from the past? Is this past man?
No, that I could see that though with the clock throwing you off like that.
This guy is like, you don't got the time to deal with me.
this
Uh,
is this is the boogeyman, and he would smash that clock on his head, and then he would have worms in his mouth, like real worms, and he would
the
be like,
boogeyman. I didn't
yeah,
know boogeyman had worms in his mouth.
that's what the gimmick was. I don't know
What
why.
lore is he basing this off of?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's voodoo lore or Mexican lore or which, I don't know what lore. What?
This guy's very interesting. He's got a lot of fur on him.
Yeah, very very odd gimmick, but it did work out for a bit. So do you know who this is?
What the fuck is this? This is punk rock the Undertaker.
That's close with the punk rock. So this is who they called the Kiss Demon.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, it's like kiss makeup.
Hmm.
Okay.
And when Kiss they were employed for WCW for a little bit, the
Yes.
in their
They made
contract,
a Scooby Doo cartoon with Kiss too.
Kiss is everywhere, and they were employed by WCW for a little bit, and in their contracts, they had a wrestler made that was called the Kiss Demon, and so this guy was created just out of that sort of contract to where he'd have to at least main event one thing, and I think they just made up a main event for him to contractually do it, but he wasn't a very good wrestler, a very good gimmick.
All right. Well, he looks cool, but doesn't seem cool. That's
Yeah,
my opinion on him.
but Kiss is pretty cool. You're right. They have done everything like Scooby Doo and all that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very much true. What the fuck, Buffalo Man?
Close.
What fucking animal is that? That's a. Oh god, that's Bull Man.
This is Mantar.
Mantar. Oh, I get it because
Yeah.
the legs, the human half is on the bottom. How the fuck could you see out of that?
I think he would take it off when he did wrestle. It was just when he would come to the ring, he would look like that.
Okay, because the horns would be like a weapon.
I like how this one made sense too. You were like, "Oh, okay," because of because of the half man on the bottom. Okay.
It's like instead of a mermaid, it's uh oh fuck, a merman, fishman.
A fish. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I can't
Yeah.
remember how it goes. Who is this next person here?
Oh god, he's creepy. His face is like, I don't know. His colors are very Naruto, except for no blue. Um, he kind of is like anime demon man.
That's well, I was gonna say that's kind of close. No, he's kind of, I guess, if you would call the dish, he's Curry Man.
What? How? Why is he? Oh, because the curry on his head. Is that
Yeah,
curry on his head?
yeah, it's supposed to be curry on his head.
That's hard to tell. I can't see that.
Curry
This is
Man.
not a recognizable character.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Wrestling. That's wrestling for you. A few more here. Do you know who this is?
It's Eagle Man.
That's actually really close.
Oh god.
I'm gonna give you the first
Mr. Eagle.
Mister
Mr. America.
America. Hell yeah, there you go.
Oh. Oh,
That's
I get
literally that's literally what his name is, Mr. America.
Isn't fucking Cody Rhodes that now? He's Mr.
That's
America,
that's pretty
but not
close.
yeah.
He's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
And this is actually Hulk Hogan just wearing American mask.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I do
Hmm.
see his facial structure.
Yeah.
His beard.
For some reason they just put a mask on him for a little while and called him Mr. America. I don't know why.
I don't know. People are probably getting sick of Hulk Hogan or something.
Do you know who this is?
What the fuck? That's a wizard man. That's no,
Uh-huh.
no, not just a
No.
wizard man. Not just though.
Uh-huh. You're right there. It's on the tip of your tongue.
Lime green wizard man.
Okay, you were going the right direction and then you kind of went the opposite direction there.
What's opposite to lime green? Red, orange?
Not color spectrum. I meant
Oh.
as far as the idea. This is Oz,
Like, oh.
like the
Oz?
wizard. Yeah, his name's literally just Oz. That's it. Like the Wizard of
Oh,
Oz,
the Wizard of Oz.
but
So
Oz.
this is the Wizard of Oz, but his name is just Oz.
Yeah, so he's like just the wizard or the place, Oz.
Mm,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Have you seen the TV show Oz?
No, but is that the
It's-
prison one?
Yeah, I think it's HBO's first one that they did. You can correct me on that in the comments below.
No, I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
But it's nothing like this photo.
No, I imagine it wouldn't be at all. Last one here. Do you know who this one might be? And
That
I
guy
will give
looks
you.
like the Undertaker, kind of, but
This is a WCW gimmick. I'm going to give you a hint. It's a number.
a number.
His name is a number.
How many digits is in this number? Are
Just
the
one.
3 digits? Oh no,
Nope.
just one.
Just one. Or the 3. Okay, I would have guessed what 3 you would pick. No, just one. Just one.
6,
Close.
7.
7. His name. I don't know why his name is 7. I don't know if it's because of the 7 sins or what.
Maybe he's 7 feet tall. He's really tall.
It's actually Cody Rhodes' brother or half brother, Dustin Rhodes.
Okay.
So I don't think he's 7 feet tall. He's probably like 6'4".
7. Why? There's nothing 7 about it. Look at the buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16 pairs of buttons there. That's 32 buttons. At
And
least.
then the gimmick, I don't even think he fought a match. Like they gave it up before it even started. I don't know. It was a real failure of a gimmick. 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lucky number. People
But
like the number 7. You know, it's the most guessed number between 1 and 10.
7 is a good number, I will say. And if anyone else wants some other good things, where can they find you, Min Salad?
I do daily movie reviews at youtube.com/ASCpresents. If you want to request a movie review, you can do that. Patreon.com/ASCpresents. And if you want to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, plus also spicy stuff, go to this link tree, linktr.ee/titsmintsalad or autisticboobs.com. So that's where you can find me.
Hell yeah. And you can check out the podcast, That's All Funny. It's available anywhere podcasts available. It comes out every day, just search That's All Funny. But podcast with my buddy Gabe, we talk about wrestling called That's All Kayfabe. It comes out every Mondays. You can check that out anywhere you find your podcast, That's All Kayfabe, as well as the YouTube channel where you're watching us right now, probably youtube.com/Lorenzo Arreola. Check out either of our Patreons for past episodes. I want to thank the wonderful Min Salad for being here. I want to thank everyone else for watching, listening, sharing, and caring. All y'all take care and be safe. See y'all next time. Bye.